Good day. This is Legal Angle with Emmanuel the Law. Hello, Ali. Thank you for joining us on this episode. And I have a special guest today. He's an author, a journalist, a publisher. He's not just a regular journalist, he's a journalist with international flair. He has practiced journalism in two different continents, two different countries. We're talking about Africa and the Western world. Welcome to the show, Mr. Deba Uwadiae.
Thank you very much.
Can you please tell our audience a
The-
little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm honored to be on this show. I've been part of it from the beginning. I've been watching and enjoying it. My name is Deba Uwadiae. I'm a journalist, as you rightly uh, introduced, and also here in Columbus, Ohio. I published the New Americans magazine here in Columbus, Ohio, and we've just recently added the New Americans Business magazine, and also a member of the Ohio Legislative Correspondents Association, and that's the group of journalists that are attached to the State House here in Columbus, Ohio State, that covers, activities of the state. I have also published books, 3 books, and recently uh, coming to America, early life in America and citizenship. I My extracurricular activities include reading. I'm also I would say I'm still an athlete because I still do the marathon. But in the last 2 years, I've been doing 5K, about two. And I love sports. Uh, and also, I'm married with 3 children. They are all adults now. And I came from Nigeria almost 10 years ago. By June, 10 years.
Oh, thank you. And knowing you personally and the stride that you have made in this community, it seems like you've been here for 3 decades. You're the model new American.
Yeah, thank
Now,
you very much.
yeah, this week, has been a week of I don't even know how to describe it. Has been a week filled with shock, violence, and some of unprecedented things that have never happened in the United States. We witnessed it this week: the storming of the Capitol by a mob that was instigated or incited by the current president of the United States. They breached the Capitol, they took it over, and they smashed, destroyed properties, and 5 people died. Being as a journalist, I also believe who has covered news all around the world, at least in two different countries. What do you think of the situation, especially the way where, especially the position of the United States in global affairs?
Uh, I watched it. I watched everything live. I watched the address by President Donald Trump prior to the invasion, of the Capitol, and so I followed everything, and so I am able to relate to what happened on that day. It was very, very embarrassing. I was embarrassed. Honestly, I never envisaged that it would go to that extent. I knew there would be problem. I knew that there would be problem, considering, what I saw when he was addressing the crowd at the White House. Uh, my thought was, okay, they will not get to into the capital, but probably they will have encounter with the police outside. And so when they started going, climbing the stairs, for those that have visited the capital, when they started climbing the stairs, I that was when I said there is going to be serious trouble. That these people, they will go in. I honestly, I started thinking. I said these people, they will go in. And at that time, the Congress was on. The vice president was there, and he was talking. And so when they broke, and the vice president was at the Senate, that was the one I was watching. The speaker was also, having her own, and the vice president was excused out. I knew they had entered because uh, while it was going on, somebody was speaking, and they said, suddenly they said, there will be a recess. Then the security came and they rushed out the vice president. I said, yes, these people, they've come in. It was such an embarrassment. It's such a shame that it happened in the United States. This kind of thing happens, happens in third world countries and some Eastern countries in Europe, you know. But for it to happen here in the United States just show that people are the same, except that, certain places uh, are organized, and so things like that don't happen. Unfortunately, it has happened here, you know, in the United States, and it's for people to know that a lot of times when people complain about election in third world countries or in Eastern Europe, it is just as it happened here in America. That is how people react to election. If they don't win, they will assume that the election was stolen, especially if their candidate does not concede, which happened in this case. President Donald Trump refused to concede to the winner. And over time, he started, preparing, what led to the event of Wednesday. And so um, it's that level, that explosive level where, you know, a place like that was defied. It was a sacrilegious, um, event that happened on that day. Like I said, every one of us here in America, we need to learn now. We need to learn because a lot of times when we see things like that happening outside America, we sometimes believe that it's true, that the election was stolen, that the candidate that is protesting, and his supporters were actually rigged out of the election. And so you see, America say the person that lost must be handed over to without going to investigate if actually the election was rigged in that country or in those countries. And so Americans and America need to learn now that it's not all the cries they hear, you know, about election being rigged or election not being rigged in third world country should be believed. I'm not saying elections are not rigged. Sometimes they are actually rigged, but They should now start considering by now say, let's investigate. Let's not just believe that these crimes, after an election is true or is not true. Let's go deeper than just supporting somebody and saying, oh, it was rigged. The person must be handed over to. The person must have won the election. That was what happened. It happened here. But for those of us that participated, you know, uh, covered the election. I give an example. Uh, Here in Columbus, I covered the election right from day one. The early voting. The first day there was an issue of the voting machines not functioning properly. And do you know that when it got out, President Trump tweeted and called it fraud, which was very embarrassing. Fortunately, the Secretary of State came out immediately to say there was no fraud, just machine errors, and that is going to be taken. It's already taken care of, and it was taken care of. And so, imagine if, for example, he didn't win Ohio State. Imagine what would have happened. You know, the way we would have described the election in Ohio State.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
yeah,
Hmm. I think you're right. It's a very, I don't even think it's just a national embarrassment. It's an international embarrassment because people look up to the United States as the beacon of democracy.
that's true.
And just like you said, people are the same all around the world.
Yeah,
What the United States have been able to enjoy over the years is something that I call political maturity.
that's true.
And you had candidates who are people of honor,
Yeah,
people of integrity, and they follow the honor system. There have been irregularities in elections before.
yeah,
It's just that the losing candidate, I was in 2002 or 2003 when Al
yeah,
Gore lost. We had that situation where we don't know who the
yeah.
president was. At
Exactly.
the end of the day, Al Gore decided to concede,
Yeah,
not because he believed that he actually lost.
yeah,
He conceded because he was a person of honor.
yeah,
We had the same issue last election where everyone thought Hillary Clinton was going to win, and the
mhm,
numbers did not add up.
exactly.
If she wasn't a person of honor, if she was a cantankerous human being,
Yeah,
just like the current president, we'll have had the same debacle. So,
exactly.
uh, what I see here is a situation where you have someone without honor or integrity
Yeah,
and who has shown himself to be what who he is, even before the first time he was running.
that's true.
So, what I find surprising is that why are Americans shocked? Because if you look at people like you and I who have seen how dictators act, how
Yeah,
dictators work, how they
yeah,
rule,
yeah,
who have been writing about it.
yeah,
Because in the New American magazines, there are several articles that you
yeah,
published.
yeah,
There are some articles that I wrote
yeah,
that are also published by other avenues
yeah,
saying that this is what is going to happen.
exactly.
Why are Americans shocked that
Yeah,
it led to this?
exactly. That is the question I was asking also. The problem, you've come to realize is that the a lot of Americans have not really taken time, to follow what goes on outside America. They've not really taken time, and they see America as the beginning and the end. And so things like that, even when it was the last 4 years, his supporters, they 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 don't know that this man was building an empire. Honestly, they don't know that President Trump, he knew, because if he had won, the next 4 years, they would have known and discovered that, oh, this person we've been supporting has come out to be a full dictator, because that was the point he was going. Because if you look at dictators where we come from, you know, that is how they do. And so uh, it's just that he didn't win, because he's already almost gotten the we call it assembly, you know, outside America. He's almost gotten the Congress in his pocket. And so he could do anything. And he said it at the time, proud to him coming in, that he can shoot somebody, you know, on the street,
On Fifth Avenue, and
and nothing
nothing's
will
gonna
happen.
come out of it. Yes,
And nothing will happen. And he meant it. And that was where he was going. That was what happened on Wednesday. Unfortunately for him, things are going to happen.
exactly. And
Things
you were
are
so
going to
right.
happen, you
Yeah,
know. So that's what they do. They become dictators. And so America had never had that experience, at least of recent, you know, of somebody being a dictator, of how dictators are built, or how dictators are, you know, how they start, you know, climbing to get to that level where they become dictators. But that was what we, from our experience, started noticing
we
in
knew.
President Donald Trump. We knew, and we started warning, you know, in our writings, in, you know, different writings, that this is how dictators are made. And when it gets to that time, what he would have been doing, we see it from how he fires people, you know, he fires this one, he fires that, he fires. That's what they do. And from there, they start putting people in jail, because he believes that he's in charge of the court. And so you now see that apart from being the president, he's also in charge of the Congress. He's in charge of the Senate. He's in charge of, you know, the House of Reps. He's also in charge of the court. And so this is how they do, you know, in the third world countries, because he'll be able to fire who is the Senate president or who is the leader of the assembly. He'll be able to fire the chief justice. And so he controls all. And if he says, put this person in jail, they put the person in jail. And you find, you know, places where you hear about people missing. And so that's what they do, because they become the all and all. You know,
Yes.
they become not just president, anything, you know,
Yes, exactly.
you
And
know, dictators.
exactly.
And that was what was going to happen. But we
Yeah,
thought we're in the Western world, you know, in a place where things like that will never happen.
yeah.
But look at it, by the time people start writing books, by the time movies start coming up with what happened in his 4 years, then people eyes will be open. I say,
Yeah,
wow,
actually,
this
everything you
is
just mentioned, yeah, it did happen. And the thing about it is this, and the way dictators act, because I remember, I wrote an article which was also published in the New American Magazine, which I said I declare Trump to be the most honest American. It's highly likely the most honest American president.
mm,
Everything he had done
yeah,
to desecrate democracy, he didn't do it under the shadow of lying.
yeah,
He said, he says he will never transfer
yeah,
power. He said he doesn't, he couldn't promise a peaceful transfer of government. This is
yeah,
what we're witnessing now.
yeah,
He calls people name. He
yeah,
politicized the FBI, the Justice Department. He called
exactly.
people my judges. He
Yeah,
called my generals. Everything that he has done, he was not hiding. It wasn't hiding.
at all.
But what I don't understand is why Americans decided to ignore it.
Yeah,
It was cheating in plain sight, and that's what dictators do.
yeah,
When you call the Ukrainian president,
yeah,
you called it a perfect call,
yeah,
and Congress let him get away with it.
yeah,
When last week too, just because there were several calls he made like that, but we
yeah,
only knew about it because the Secretary of State in Georgia recorded the call,
yeah.
bullying people to steal elections.
Actually, yeah,
So I think, just like you said, Americans have no frame of reference
yeah,
because they're used to dealing with people who will bow down to the system.
exactly.
But dictators do not.
Yeah, I I don't know if you are hearing me, but the audio, the audio, audio. Hello, the audio.
Yeah, hello?
Okay, the audio was
Can
off.
you- Okay,
I can hear.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I was saying that it was the most powerful man in the world
yeah.
was just silenced by social media.
Yes.
What an
The-
irony.
yeah, what an irony. And the same social media. You see, he's. I don't know. We need to give him the credit. He probably knew that it might happen, especially at this time, and so that is why he has been asking for uh, the the amendment, of the control of the social media. Unfortunately, he couldn't get that through because he attached it to the military um, budget that was passed by the two house. When he vetoed it. Uh, Now he cannot use the social media. The most powerful man has been reduced to um, not powerful when it comes to social media, and it's an irony. He will have to learn, a very hard way to see that there are people or organizations that he's not able to bully, and control, especially at this time, that is now lame duck period for him. And he's like, I hope he will learn, and after this, I hope he will learn because I'm sure he didn't envisage the damage, that happened at the Capitol. He didn't envisage the damage. He didn't envisage the the kind of abuse, the kind of abuse of that building, you know. And now that it happened, everybody saw it all over the world, saw it live, and he doesn't have an excuse. I hope that he will learn. The social media that he used, especially Twitter. he doesn't have it anymore. And so let's see what he will be using
Yeah. Oh
in the
my God.
next few days.
I wish I could be as optimistic as you that he's gonna learn. But knowing what I know about dictators and people like that, he will never learn.
Uh,
He would see himself as the victim of a
yeah.
system that wanted to silence him because he was
Mm,
fighting for the freedom of some
mm,
people. He will never learn. And dictators, the thing is that they never bow down to any system. The
yeah.
only way a system can handle them is for the system to crush them.
Yep.
Otherwise, they never learn. Otherwise it will never learn. Even right now, the videos he released the other day was because he wasn't. They forced him to do it. The
Yeah.
next day he came back and he was belligerent again.
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly. So people like that, they don't learn. The only thing they understand is power and by dominating. If they're
Yeah.
not dominating the news, if they're not dominating power, they don't learn from errors. Even the people that died, he hasn't acknowledged the death
No, no,
because those are just collateral damages to a dictator's move.
that's true.
Can you remember under the Abacha regime, how many
Yeah,
people died?
a lot.
Protests,
Yeah,
bombing,
yeah,
assassinations.
a lot of people.
Even they even assassinated jailed former presidents,
Yeah,
assassinated former vice presidents.
yeah,
They don't learn.
that.
Yeah. So it's just so sad that the American democratic institution has been desecrated,
Yeah,
and people around the world can see it. The fallout from this is just what no, the problem is that the fallout from this, every country in the world that American has been able to say, you know what, democratize, freedom, and all that.
yeah,
Now we've lost that moral authority.
yeah.
And any Tin Pot dictator can now say, you know what, mind your business, because
That's
your own house is not even in order.
yeah,
Now we have this push for him to be removed even before the 20th.
yeah,
You have what do you think about that push for him to either be impeached and removed, the 25th Amendment, or for him to resign? We know that he's not going to resign.
yeah.
And
They,
we're also getting indications that Mr. Pence is not going to instigate the 25th Amendment. Now let's
yeah,
talk about the impeachment.
yeah. It's will be possible in the house, because we are expecting the article to, you know, be put uh, to be tabled on next Monday, just a few days from now. But it probably will not happen in the Senate before the swearing in, which means the Senate will have to, you know, uh, take it up after the swearing in. But if the Congress can take care of it, in the next few days, because it's, according to reports, it's possible under emergency situation to carry out the impeachment. you know. So all they need to do is just look at what is on ground. He he cited people to invade the capital.
Capital.
Is there? All these are facts, are recorded. It happened. It's not as if it did not happen. He told them, we'll go there. He threatened the vice president. He said, you need to do this. If you don't do it, I will not be happy with you. And these are threats. These are there. These are facts. So even if you invite him and he refuses to come, the facts are there. You play it. Everybody will see it. And you can vote on it. And so that's why I said in the Congress, it will pass. When it gets to the Senate, already um, Senator Mitch McConnell has said that um, they they will have to. It might not happen, before the swearing. And so after the swearing, he loses his leadership. So leadership goes to somebody else, you know. And thanks for what happened in Georgia. And so the leadership of the Senate will change. Then it should now be for the new Senate leader to take it up and see how it goes. But definitely he will go down in history as the first uh, United States president to be impeached twice.
Yes. Yeah, I think the impeachment needs to go forward
Yeah,
to make a point.
yeah,
And the kind of carnage that was meted out on the Capitol on the
yeah.
6th should not go unpunished.
No,
It
it will
should
not
not go
go.
unpenalized because otherwise other people will get inspiration from
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
and worse can happen in the future.
that's true.
Because you have to draw boundaries, a strong boundary, and draw the line for dictators to keep them in check. And
That's
that's what Congress has been unable to do for the past 4 years,
yeah.
because it was encouraged by, like you said, he owned the Senate.
So
He
yeah,
owned congressional Republicans both in the
yeah,
Senate and in the
yeah,
House.
yeah,
So because of that, they were not able to put him in check.
yeah,
In fact, they built, they were part to blame. They were partly, they can share
yeah,
blame for what happened
yeah.
because they enabled him.
That's true.
They didn't draw the line when they needed to.
Yeah,
But now, the only reason that is making that make people to take note is because it went to the extent it went. But what I
yeah,
find strange is that it's never, they should have seen this coming.
yeah. Like I said, they didn't see it coming because they
They have no frame of reference.
they've always focused on America.
Yeah, yeah. They
They've
thought,
they never knew what was going on outside. What was going on outside was like, hearsay,
hmm,
like, oh, you know, just mention. If you watch the local news, whatever happens internationally is just mere mention, probably 4 or 5 lines on TV, on radio. And so they really don't know. It's only when there is a fight, you hear about Afghanistan, you hear about Iraq, but you do, but when it is other things, we don't hear. We don't
yeah.
hear about those things. And so they don't have reference, like you
Hmm,
said. They don't follow it. And also, you know how people study history
hmm,
in third world country.
yes.
Trying to
We
study
study,
history,
we
world
study histories
history,
of other countries,
other
the
countries. They
political
study
system.
exactly the political everything. They study everything, and you must pass this in your exam. If you don't pass, you don't go further. But we don't need to do it here. We don't need to study those, people's history. No, it's only America, and so a lot of them never knew that it would go like this, and it would have even passed if the carnage that happened in the Capitol didn't happen. Honestly, have passed, and probably somebody uh, tougher than him would have come, after him and continue to do the same thing, But it happened probably because it has to stop.
Exactly.
People like him, people like him will not have opportunity of getting to power again.
Well, we hope so.
At
We
least
hope so,
in
because that's what
modern time.
people like us thought in 2016, that
It
there's
was not
no
possible.
way that people will vote for this guy.
Yeah,
And even in this second election, 74 million people voted for dictatorship.
correct.
So I wouldn't know if I can say never, because the genie has been let out of the bottle.
Yeah,
And now they've tasted blood. They know what it feels like.
yeah.
It's hard to put the genie back in the bottle unless you clamp down hard on the leader of the insurrections and
Mm,
those who are in it
yeah,
and those who enabled it, even in the Senate.
yeah.
That is the only way to stop this from happening in the future.
Exactly.
Otherwise, this is what the Allies did after the Second World War.
Yeah.
They didn't say kumbaya to Hitler and his surrogates.
No,
Those who committed suicide,
they went
those who
after them.
participated in the genocide, all of them were tried,
Yeah,
even low-level soldiers.
yeah,
And that's why Europe hasn't, well, that's why there hasn't been anything like that in Germany.
yeah. Exactly.
When the same thing happened in Yugoslavia,
Mm,
the world did the same thing to Milosevic.
yeah,
We haven't had any situations like that again in over 20 something years. So if you play nice and just respect the dictators and the people that enable them and
yeah,
let them get away with it, it's going to happen again
That's true.
because we have to learn from history.
Exactly. That's why I'm impressed by, what the security, has been doing since that day. A lot of those people, especially those that were highlighted in the media, in the social media, a lot of them are being arrested now. Even some were charged today, so a lot of them are being arrested and being charged. And we know that this America, we know that America will not let it go.
Yeah.
I believe in America. I know they will not let it go.
Yes. We will let the system
Congress,
prevail. Yes.
that is why the Congress said on Monday they are going. The Speaker has said if he doesn't resign, impeachment.
Exactly. Yes. Now let's talk about your book,
Yeah,
Welcome to America.
yeah,
What inspires that name? It's like the
yeah.
name of the most
Yeah,
popular
yes,
movie,
exactly.
Coming to
Coming to
America.
America. Yeah,
Coming to America, yes.
yeah,
Coming to America.
yeah. Um, Actually, when I was coming to America, when we were coming in 2011, I, I had I had a plan, a goal to write 100 days in America, you know, and just to let you know that 100 days in America, I was still, I was still, we were still living with the person that was our host. We had, barely, probably just got a job, the last week of 100 days. And so nothing happened. And so I
You had
decided
100 days of rest, watching TV, getting
exactly,
used to the American sitcoms.
exactly. And so I said, I'm no longer going to write 100 days, in America. And so over time, started thinking what to write. Actually did, um, after 4 years, I think I did The Immigrant on Columbus Way, you know, and when the president came, President Donald Trump, he he painted immigrants,
He demonized immigrants.
yeah, demonized them, painted them very bad. And so when you hear about immigrants, it's like, oh, these people are invaders. They invade America. They came to, you know. And so I said, okay, I need to work on that. And so I did some other things that happened cities when we became citizens. And so I retitled after the expansion, coming to America, early life in America and citizenship. And so coming to America is always the dream of many youths outside America, many, because you see a lot of things on TV, you see a lot of movie, and you fall in love with America, outside America. You follow the election, before this one, you follow, the names, like us when we were growing up, Muhammad Ali, was, the big name at that time, James Brown, and so everybody had that, my generation, had that dream to come to America. And over time, people started coming, a lot to read, uh, some to work. And eventually, uh, the United States diversity,
Visa.
immigrant program, which outside America we know as visa lottery, was introduced. And so that has been able to allow at least 50,000 um, people, to come to America under that platform. And that platform is what it does is it allows countries that have less representation, here in America in terms of you know, to come to America. And it was started, during the time of George Bush. And so, but I think it was during the time of Reagan that, the Congress passed it. So that was the platform we came. And so that platform every year, allows 50,000 people to come to America, at least 50,000. Different from other platforms like the refugee, uh, platform, the what we call the H-1B and H-2B, which is for workers, to come in, work permit. So that was the platform we came in 2011. My family came in 2011. And so a lot of things I wrote in Coming to America, is related to that.
Yeah.
Everyone that comes to America, no matter the platform you come by, must go through what we went through to
Exactly. Yes.
reach
Very good there.
to,
Yes.
to, to life, way of life in America. And so that was what inspired the book.
Okay.
If you
Um.
have
Uh, yes.
it,
Yeah. I've read the book. I've read the book. I've read the book, and it's like a guide slash
correct,
memoir,
correct,
because you talk about your experience and about how you start all over. I've heard
yeah,
someone say before that USA means you start again, and
yeah,
regardless of where you've been, where you came
exactly,
from.
exactly,
Yeah, you talked about how you arrived, about your journey to Columbus. You talk about how you obtained your social security number and card, getting a driver's license, a car, a job, and things like that.
yeah,
Why did you decide to write it in form of a guide so that someone who just landed in the United States today, they don't know what to do, they don't know where to go,
yeah,
your book gives them that steps. It's like a
exactly,
step-by-step guide as to
yeah,
what you need to do. And most oftentimes when people arrive like that, if they arrive and got to a place where maybe their host
yeah,
has never been through that, they don't know what to do.
exactly, exactly.
So why did you decide to write it in that format?
Exactly. As a journalist, I interacted. I still interact with people, and a lot of times they tell me, "Oh, I had this issue. I had this problem." Uh, when I just came, and I say, "Oh, then that should be." In fact, that was why I decided to now. I told you I wanted to do 100 days. So that was why I now decided to do the book that way. That is better for people that are coming to know that these are the things you need to do, the basic things that you need to do for you to be for you to integrate, for you to assimilate into the system. And it will be easy for you if you know before coming. It will be easy for you to, if you know, probably when you just came and somebody referred the book to you, go and buy this book, you know. And also, it will be easy if you have somebody that is coming, you know, you just buy the book and send it to the person so that when the person comes, he knows that, oh, these are the things I need to do. Somebody related an experience to me. The person came and staying with somebody. He came on the visa lottery, came and staying with somebody, and the person said, "Oh, don't worry, they will send the security uh,
Card.
to you," and the person stayed for for as long until the person made a call to somebody, and the person said, "No, you have to go to the Social Security Administration office." And so things like that, you just be waiting and waiting, and you are wasting your time. You are wasting the time of the person that is hosting you because the person expects that he will just host you for a while, after which, and so then some also on that platform, some also believe that the government will look for a job for you when you come in. You know that if immediately you come in, American government is going to look for job for you. They are going to no. It's not like that. And so that is what inspired me to now do it as a guide, and not just as a guide, as a structural guide that you come, you must get your social security number, you must get this. No, I did it so that when you are reading it, you are seeing the real life of what it takes
Yeah,
for
you related your own
my own
experiences. You're
experience.
not just saying that do this. You
Exactly.
told the story of how you got a car, how you got a
Exactly.
job. Even some
Yes.
of you even mentioned the names of the people that took you to some of these
Some
places.
of these places, yeah. So when you read it, you're going to know that, oh, these are the things. This is what I need to do. This is what I will be doing. For example, I wrote about how you need to get an apartment, you know, and we know how we get apartment, especially where we come from. We know how difficult it is, and but here you can walk to where you get your apartment. Sometimes outside the place, you will see 1 month free apartment, 1 month free, because they are encouraging you to come and live there, you know. And so I related this, in the book, that these are the things they will require. Even when you go there are certain things they will expect from you. They want to make sure that you are working. So you don't just come with your money and say you want to rent a place. They want to know, they want to get your pay stub. They want to know if you are working, because for them, if you come into the apartment, they want to be sure that you'll be paying, every month.
Exactly. They want to make sure that you're credit worthy, that
Yes,
you're credit worthy, that you can
yes,
afford the apartment.
the apartment. So you start learning all these from the book even before you get an apartment. And also, everybody's dream, especially the American dream, is for you to progress to a level, and so you want to buy a house, you know and so you learn how to go to process, to go about it, where to go, who to meet, and how at the end of the day you can buy or you may not. Because for us, it got to a level where we're ready to buy. And suddenly the bank said, unfortunately, we cannot uh, approve. And we said, why? And the guy said, well, we saw a place where it says that it is not living in America for 2 years. It is for you to prove that you have worked for 2 years. And so that very month that we're supposed to sign to get, uh, the house that we got eventually, the guy was telling us, oh, sorry, uh, you've only been in America for 2 years. You have not worked for 2 years. And it was very disappointing for us in the house. But if I've gotten that kind of book,
If someone had told you, you wouldn't
I've
have
read
gone
it.
through that experience.
Yeah, people told us that it's 2 years, but they didn't tell us that it's 2 years of working,
Mhm. Not 2 years of residence.
not 2 years of residence.
Yeah.
And
This
so,
is a book that every new immigrant
you know,
should get their hands on. And
honestly,
yeah. And apart from writing this very instructive book, you also started. You also started. You're also the publisher of two magazines now.
yeah.
Congratulations on the new one that you just launched, which
Thank you
is a
very
New
much.
American Business Magazine.
Magazine,
But
yeah,
prior to the New American Business Magazine, you've had the New American Magazine for
yeah,
years now,
yeah,
which has been the voice of new Americans
yeah,
in Ohio, in Columbus,
yeah.
Ohio.
Yeah.
What inspired you to start that New American Magazine?
Very good question. Very good question. I, as a journalist, I read news a lot. I read a newspaper. I read online too. I realized that we only have one daily newspaper here in Columbus, you know, and I read that newspaper. I realized that you can hardly find stories about the new America.
Divergent voices.
Yeah, about the new Americans. And I I thought said to myself, I need to take up this challenge. I need to start reporting the new Americans community. No matter what, people are doing well. You go out, you see new Americans, they are doing well. They are working very hard. They have their offices, you know, and they are contributing, employing people and all that. And I said, I need to start doing it, even though uh, it might be difficult, but I need to. So that was how I started going about. It was not easy, started going around, interviewing people, promoting what they are doing, and that was it. Got to the city council, got to state house, secretary of state. Everybody started learning, and so it became the voice of the new American community. And from there, I was admitted to the Ohio um, Legislative Association, and we've been and recognized by the city, twice, for what we are doing in the community. And that was what now gave birth to the business magazine,
Business
so that we
Magazine.
can also highlight, business contribution, the entrepreneurship of new Americans, in the community. Um, to date, we've been able to uh, build one of the strongest subscriber base, for that community. And so we, when there are information from the the state, from the city, from different departments, they pass through us to help them disseminate, to the new American community. And the good thing about it is that a lot of times when people see me, they feel that uh, we are talking about people from Africa, you know, but they've come to discover that we are talking about new America.
All new Americans, all new immigrants, all
Yeah, no
immigrants that
matter
are
where.
trying to assimilate, even if they are already American citizens.
Yeah,
All hyphenated Americans.
yes, exactly, exactly. And recently, I was talking with some of our interns, and I told them, I said, yeah, two. One is that new Americans that, immigrants, people, first generation American. And I said, it's also a movement, new Americans, you know, um, it is the entire American and encompassing America. An American that is all all encompassing. It's a movement, different from an America that is segregated, that is separated, that is, identified by, class, by race. I said, no, this is an inclusive, movement. It's an inclusive publication, So that is the new American that we are.
Yeah.
And
Thank
so
you.
they said,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I can
we're part of
we,
it.
we can see that in the publication too. Your
Yeah,
publication is all about every new American, regardless of where they're from, whether they're from Bhutan,
exactly.
whether they're from India, whether they're from
Yeah.
Nigeria, or whether they're from Kenya. We're running out of time, but I would
Wow.
like you to also talk about because you just started a new information center, which is
All
the
right.
New American Information Center. You got a grant from the city, and
Yeah.
you're running that.
Yeah.
And it's a place where you provide resource
All
to
right.
and information to people who are just arriving, like
Yeah.
part of the some of this information that they are lacking.
Yeah.
You are providing to them at that resource center. Can you tell
Yeah.
us just like maybe a minute about
Okay.
that?
Yeah. Yeah. The New America Information, New America Community Information Center is actually a resource center. It's a place that you can come in if physically, if you want to come to use our facilities to. If you are looking for a job, you don't have computer in your home, you can come, to our resource center to use our computer to, look for a job. And also you can give us a call, on anything that you want to do. We've been part of this distribution of COVID-19 PPE on behalf of the city, on behalf of the Ohio Department of Health, so that the New American community can also be given have access to those personal protective equipment that the government has been giving out. But in total, it's a resource center. You need any information, whether it's on health, whether it's on accommodation, whether it's on whatever. Somebody called yesterday. She wanted to buy a car. She wanted to buy a car, and she said she needed where to buy. So that is what our information center, is doing. As maybe you say little as that, people call and say, I want to buy a car. Where can I buy
Mm,
a car that I can afford?
mm,
So that is what we are. And we are going to be doing a lot, we are not just going to sit in the office. We are coming out with programs, with workshop, with events. And so
seminars and stuff like that.
calling on you as
Yeah.
a lawyer to come and, support us to
Definitely,
legal
and then
talks.
thank you for taking on that mantle. Before we go or before we sign off, can you tell people where they can get the book Coming to America?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Just Google. It's on Amazon. It's on Barnes and Noble. It's on bookshopstore.com. It's um, it's everywhere. You can also contact us. Business New American Magazine um, website. You can contact us. You can call us. And very soon I'm going to be on the road you know, have
For a book tour,
yes, I'm going
signing
to
tour.
have a book tour, and you can come in, get a copy, and I'll be happy to sign those copies.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful conversation with you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for the mantle that you've taken, providing resources and help to people who otherwise will not have a place to get those help.
Thank you very much, and thank you for what you are doing. It's you know what you're doing, but I will really tell you that Columbus, Ohio, all over, we are feeling you, and we are happy that you are doing what you are doing too.
Thank you. For those of you watching us at home or listening to us wherever you are, thank you for joining us for this episode of Legal Angle with Emmanuel Delo Olawale. Until next time, stay blessed and stay safe. Bye for now.
Bye bye.